following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, into the breach do we go, dear friends. As always, we'd like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what do we have going on today? Well, as we start the show, the S&P is up mildly, 4 points. Again, we're going to call volume just slightly ahead of yesterday's horrifically low volume. 1.866 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. We did go and touch 2,400 on the S&P cash, actually 2,400.85. And it instantly said, he's touching me, make him stop touching me. And it pulled back a little. Not much, but back a little. So they're holding this market up, but there's certainly no volume. I'll try to dig it up during the break, but I had it in my newsletter this morning. The amount of money traded yesterday was only, on the upside, was only about a little less than 2/3 of what the money on Wednesday was on the way down. So we're coming up not only in light volume, but very light money. And again, some of this might be summer trading. But what we can't get away from is that almost no one is short. We had another day of ultralight shorting. No one wants to pull the trigger on this market at its high. And without the shorts, I'm wondering if this market can go higher, because it's the only thing that's really been pushing it. Earnings haven't changed that much. If anything, going to deteriorate a little bit. And I don't know what else you can say. Anyway, we're going to get started with the show and start off with a little bit of history, because that's how we start every show.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1995, Sun Microsystems launches Java, the universal internet programming languages that brings white space and greater interactivity to millions of websites and internet users. James Gosling is accredited and the creator of the Java programming language used to build much of the world's business software and Android mobile apps, other stuff like that. Basically joined Amazon Web Services yesterday. He used to be part of Google and, of course, always with Sun. He basically wrote the first, or created the first language that was known as object-oriented. It had been talked about by computer scientists for a while, but everything, it was kind of like nouns and verbs and a lot of that kind of stuff. You could build the equivalent of a blueprint, but a blueprint wasn't the same thing as a house. You have to take what they call an object and instantate it, and that is kind of the actual formation, in memory. But it's a lot about the way you put things together, people, places, and things. And if you had a car, you'll build an object, and that car can have 2 or 4 doors, be a hatchback. You just kind of check off all the stuff you want. But it makes it very easy to organize the way stuff's done. Anyway, he did leave Google to start his own startup. He's been gone a few years from Google, but started yesterday with Amazon. And that is, the thought is that they're going to go ahead and split Java again, and Amazon is going to make it its default language for all of its Amazon Web Services. But on this day in 1995, we get the first look at a object-oriented language that's open source and free, and from Sun Microsystems. And I don't know if you can say any more about it than that. Healthcare costs. Been talking a lot about what happens in healthcare and what happens to healthcare stocks. This tends to be something I just kind of stay away from, because it is about as opaque as you can be in a stock market. But I did see this yesterday, and that was the cost to make a single-payer healthcare service in California was $400 billion. To give you an idea, their budget, total budget for everything that they do right now is $200 billion per year. They could figure out a way to siphon off some of the money for some of the other stuff, but it would still be at least about $100 to $150 billion to go to single payer in California. And even the most progressive state in the union is squeamish to drive everybody out of their state, to put such draconian tax hikes on in a state that has either the first or second highest taxes in the country already. Many have already moved to Nevada, Tesla being one. There are a bunch of others. Along with New York, very high tax states are seeing huge outflows of people and companies. But if you wanted to put a number on what it would cost for single payer, just double the budget of everything that someone does in California, and that's the number. So maybe a honorable goal to give health care to everybody. It may be making a state literally in less than a year or two, probably the equivalent of Puerto Rico. Just actually not even somewhat affordable. Spacewalks were out this morning. I thought after last night's news, kind of a little depressed, down. Don't like to watch bad news like that. And watching the spacewalk, you never really think about these guys being up there. Everybody just kind of forgets the fact that we are permanently in outer space right now, or at least inner space, some space, not deep space, but at least we're not on the planet's surface anymore. But I thought it was very interesting, and I was just wondering how many people would, or even thought about it. But hey, we're circling the Earth. People are, but most people are not thinking about it. They had to go out there and work on do a spacewalk because they had to fix a little box out on the outside of the International Space Station. And I watched it. It was very calming to watch that little blue orb under there with all the problems we have down on the surface. Up about 200 or 300 miles, they don't seem as big a deal. And, of course, they had to go out because, of course, a little box broke. And I was just wondering how many people would get that they were out there fixing the AE-35 unit. You got that, email me at path@tfnn.com. AE-35 unit. How many people know what that is? If you do, path@tfnn.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we are back. Interesting day out here. Just now we're up 3.5 points on the S&P cash, just 1.9 billion shares on the New York Stock Exchange. Of course, we are going into summer trading, so volume is going to start pulling back a little bit. Normally, I would be rather scared of higher prices, but with the lowest short interest in about 5 years, not a lot of people that are probably going to squeal here unless you move the market up substantially. So I don't think there's a lot of people to go short squeeze. And, you know, occasionally you get a lot of people that show up and get bearish and the market pops back up and runs them out. And that's the juice that gets the market higher. But we have two things, almost no shorts in the market as far as equity shorts, and very few people even in the puts in puts. You can kind of say that if no one's willing to pay for S&P puts, then you're going to see a low VIX. And this low VIX has been low for a while. The only thing I would say is, man, if you are long and you want to stay long, insurance is as cheap as it gets now on this. And I just wouldn't understand being at highs up here with no volume. And, you know, I'm bearish and actually short. But if I was thinking a different way and thinking long, I'd still have to buy some downside protection. I just don't understand being at highs and poking the bear with a stick in these conditions. As I said, I was short, so that's it. Did we get anybody? Oh, where's my thing? Oh, I turned it off. Crap. Okay, let me get this back up. I was going to check to see if anybody got the AES reference. That already gone by? The AE35 reference. Nope, Nobody got it? That's what they had to go out and fix in 2001. Someone looked it up in Wikipedia. That's cheating. But Paul Jacobs wins the gold star of the day. Okay, what do we have out here? Well, we talked about that. Is there anything else? Not anything really in news. I've got a lot of news I'm going to talk about in the 4 o'clock hour. And at 4:20, we're going to have Andy Heck. We've lined up some pretty interesting things to talk about. So I'll get to pick his mind starting then. I got some news at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about that. But at this point, it's time to start getting into some charts. Again, you can always call me at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com or post a message in the den. Nope. It was in the movie 2001, they had to go out and fix the AE-35, and it wasn't broke. Yeah, Powell was just using it to get the guys outside the spaceship so he could kill them or let them die, actually. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at here. Okay, we're at 23.97 on the S&P cash. We got to, let's call it 24.01. Volume is tepid. We'll check back in with that in the next segment. So we'll go and start looking at some of the other things going on. Now, we've had some earnings and some news, so we'll take a look at that. First is, of course, the automobile parts sector got slammed on bad earnings from one of its brethren. There's another one that comes out tomorrow. Anyway, Advanced Auto Parts back down to its support level of April 17th. It saw 650,000 shares, plowed through it again on May 2nd with 1.45 million shares. Today, 2.4 million shares already. So this $140 level, $139 level seems to be key in Advanced Auto Parts. I think their earnings are tomorrow. I think I've got them written down. We'll check during the break. Other stocks of interest. In fact, I've got this list of them we can go through. Agilent, earnings after the bell last night, opened up fairly strong. Lots of volume, but it's back in the trading range again today. We talked about this last week, how many of these stocks actually were able to reach escape velocity. Well, this isn't one of them. It needed to get above the $58.38 high from the 16th of May. It certainly did that today, but it looks like it's going to close back into this trading range. Volume was pretty good, 5.7 million shares already compared to the 1 million shares, but doesn't matter. It's back in that. We already did Advanced Auto Parts. Alexa Pharmaceuticals, it's off 9% today, and it looks like it's breaking through many of its recent lows out here at about the 110 level. Got to a low of 102.47. Certainly has all the volume in the world and blowing out that low. Let's take a quick look at the IBB. Nothing really in this. Just down a little. So no big deal. Activision Blizzard, it opened up a bit higher. This one is also, depending on how we close out here, problematic. No volume on this one. Went to $60.13. The last high was May 16th at almost 7 million shares at 57.30. So it's through that high. It certainly has the volume, but it can't hold that high. AstraZeneca, another one, not much movement in it today. CSX, some talk on this one about some Activision, but again, not Activision, some those two words are too close. Of course, in the living hell that is retail, DSW Shoes took a big dive today. This thing actually opened up a little higher and immediately went to selling off as fast as it can. And again, in recent history, let's keep going back here and see if this thing Can we go back even a little bit further? I mean, this thing, $15 goes back into 2011 for its lows. So quite a long-term low. H, which is Hyatt Hotels, a lot of discussion about Goldman Sachs selling shares in this stock, but not affecting it that much today. MGI, which is MoneyGram. Again, any of these payment companies seem to be on the topic of buyout discussions all the time. This one up just a little bit on that. Momo, another one that's in the buyout camp. Unclear what happened on this. I didn't have time to check. But a lot of discussion about buyouts on this one. I don't know if it had bad news. Got down to $38.85 today. Opened higher, pretty much sold off all day. It's recovered a bit, but right back in. Another automobile company, part company, O'Reilly, will come back. Give me a call, 877-947-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Well, I'll be in the 4 o'clock hour sitting in for Tom O'Brien today. And it will be Andy Heck and I at 4:20. I wanted to discuss a few things with him, and I wanted to let him know the things I was interested in. He's going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin and also Bungie. And this stock was halted earlier today. He's going to tell us what he thinks is behind that, plus a few other things. He'll talk a little bit about Bitcoin and just how low crude could go over time. Not right away, but over time. And a few other things. So make sure and join me and Andy at 4:20. And, of course, at the top of the hour at 4. What else do we have happening out here? Well, we're up 30 cents on the dollar index. Gold is off about $6. And, of course, we're just still kind of hovering around up 4 points in the S&P cash. Volume is light, and we still have not turned 2 billion shares on the NYSE consolidated tape. So wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. I had to do that. Or that. Okay, so what else do we have? Toll Brothers, they had some fairly decent earnings. Housing numbers did come out at 10.2, and they put a kind of a pale on this pop in earnings from them. They did very well, but their average selling price on their house was almost $900,000. And they were saying that everything's going away swimmingly, and they're going to continue to do well. But when the numbers came out at 10, kind of put a pall on Toll Brothers, TOL. Again, this thing was hitting a long-term gap. It's been around for a while. Let's go back and look at this. This goes back to last year. It gapped down on August 24th of 2015, actually 2 years, almost 2 years now, on 5.4 million shares. So there's a lot of people up here that bought at the highs, even when this thing kind of pulled back. We're back up there. We're testing this area. Volume's going to be okay. It's not going to be all that expensive. Toll Brothers may be the odd lot in the housing market. But what we saw were rather disappointing numbers this morning, and them kind of moving up previous months in retrospect. The previous 2 months, they upped a bit. But again, seems like the housing market probably about as fairly priced, or fully priced, excuse me, as it's been in a long time. So that one kind of ran over. Take-Two Interactive was down almost $8 or $9 after earnings last night. And, man, did they turn that around. Last I looked at it at 5:30 or something, the thing was down $5 or $6. It opened up this morning, went all the way to $76.70. I suspect that they lured a bunch of people in short and then ran the bejesus out of them this morning. But, if you would have sat on your hands for a while, around just over $72 now in this thing. But a lot of volume. Watch for this one tomorrow. If it opens up at about $70, this thing, stick a fork in it, you're going to have an island reversal up here at the top. Xilinx, some discussion about downgrading this thing, and semis were kind of had a opportunity to be rather weak anyway. They've been going up on fairly light volume, and of course this one pulled down. Of course, its only real competition was bought by Intel last year. That was Altera. In my business, we used Altera. We weren't Xilinx fans. But, I don't know. That had a lot to do with the ultra-smart 180 IQ engineer that we had that basically engineered around every other engineer in the entire company. He was just that smart. Down on volume. And what do we have down here? 7 million shares. Last low was 2 million shares on May 3rd. You got this gap that was about 8 million shares. So you're going to overdo that today as we go back in here. I don't know if the news was really that bad. It's something I'm going to have to look at tonight. But certainly you got the volume to go back in some of these gaps. This one, of course, made its first gap out here today. You've got two gaps, one down to 60 and one down to about 58. Someone might come along and buy this company. It probably wouldn't be on my short list. Somebody might think that buying Xilinx is the way to riches in machine learning, as Altera is probably for Intel. But we'll see how that goes. I just wouldn't be one. Someone may just think that they have to buy this even if they don't. which is always kind of weird. What else do we have going on out here? Somebody talking about, we've got, Lowe's coming out in a few days. Let's take a look at that. Is this the same Lowe's? I think it's the same Lowe's, isn't it? Oh, clicked on the wrong button here. You're going to see behind the curtain. Lowe's, L-O-W. Is this the same? This is the same one, isn't it? I think it is. Down on 5 million shares today. This one's got a double gap right at $77. Dollars to no donuts. This is where this thing is coming back. So a pretty easy way of looking at this. Also a high back here on February 21st. That would act as support. You've got a double gap right at $70. A lot of big arrows all pointing to one price. I think that $77 is a good bet on that one. If you're thinking about buying this thing and it going higher, I suspect, though, this thing at best is in a trading range higher. At worst, could pull back farther than $77 over time. So what else did we have? I had, maybe I've got it in my list. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. So we looked at those. Let's take a look real quick and see if any of the big guys are moving down. We're at 23.98. And again, just ticked over 2 billion shares, by the way. Amazon, a little higher today. No juice so far. Got about 1.8 million shares compared to the 2.6 million shares yesterday. It went higher. It's back into the trading range out here. Yeah. See if any of these other ones. Facebook, real quick. See if these things are doing anything. You might get your close above the 3x3 today, and all you need to do is see any pullback whatsoever or any weakness in this one at all, and it's going to give you a sell signal. This one doesn't have that much farther down to go. I'm looking at about 140, 139 on that one. NFLX. Take a look at the FANG stocks real quick. NFLX, right? Yeah. Okay, now this one, we've been talking about these 3x3 repos. You're probably going to get a close above that today. So all you need is a close down below the 3x3 or 9-day moving average going forward. Of course, 9-day going forward is kind of tough to figure out until it actually does it. But a lot of these, now maybe they go sideways until Friday, maybe they actually close lower on Friday. But I think there's some fairly decent risk that there with no volume going into the light volume. We'll be back after this.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And is it Kip? Kip asked me, he said, I'm short. You're really short? Yes, I'm short. Not fully short yet. I think there's an opportunity to add a few more positions going forward. But the question is, well, they're doing pretty good, actually. I think on one kind of sideways on one. One broke today. He's down 6% or so. Another one that's already moved down 2 or 3% since I shorted it on Friday. So some of my shorts are starting to pay off. It's not like all of them. Of course, they're not index shorts. I'm down like 1/10 of a point on one of my index trades. So not much movement in that. One didn't move at all. It's still kind of stuck where it was last week. But my guess is that will probably be the one that just opens up one day, it's down 20 or 30 bucks on a $150 stock. So kind of looking forward to that into the light volume. But so far, again, just no juice, just barely over 2 billion shares at 241. So to me, we are certainly up here on light volume and light energy. So what do we have? Kind of interesting. Anyway, let's see if there's anything else out in here I wanted to look at. Looked at the IB. Let's take a quick look at the TLT. This thing still seems to be very stuck in this trading range. Never quite got up to the, at least this so far, this 124.73 from April 18th. The energy on the way up was fairly good last Wednesday on the 17th. Since then, it just kind of went up and it's already rolled back over. Again, on this one, on your 3x3 displaced average, this thing doesn't have any juice on the way down, but my guess is this thing, it wants about 122, which would about halfway fill this gap up from the 17th. But you would think with the way everything's going, that's TLT would just keep ripping. But it had one good day, and it kind of went a little higher, and now it's kind of rolled back down. Not a lot of juice, but that 122 area, it's going to be very interesting. I still suspect that you could see this thing back at 119, well, 120, and it wouldn't really break a bullish case in this. But I don't know if that 120 actually would hold. So you still need to look at it. We looked at Facebook. Did I bring up Microsoft? MSFT? Man, I'm losing my mind. Microsoft actually showed some new laptops today and a new feature. I was thinking about it. Oh, we've got Roy in Fort Worth. Let's go to Roy. How you doing today, Roy?
Good. How you doing today, Dave?
Good. How's living in God's country?
Well, I don't know. It's all right.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I heard you were going to talk with Andy Heck later on about Bitcoin and everything, and I was talking with Basil about it last week a little bit. The GBTC, it's been up and down quite a bit in the past couple of weeks and everything. Basil had it as a peak E last week, and now it looks like it's gone to an F. And I was in at about 125, and then I got out about 234. Still got a few shares at. So I'm just wondering what your opinion was as to where it might be going. It's going to, head on back down.
Well, we're going to talk about that tonight, but my opinion is you're trading Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies, all right.
You're trading Beanie Babies. Andy's discussion on that, he thought it was more like Tulip Mania from the 1610, 1620 area of early Dutch culture, the 1600s.
Sure.
I don't know. To me, all this stuff just seems like a horrible gamble, and why I kind of stay away from it, because the lure of easy money ends up catching a lot of people out here. If you made a lot of cash on it,
yeah,
God love you. The more I do that, the more I have a tendency to gamble.
Right.
And when I do that, I end up normally with a lower account, not a higher one. So I kind of stick to my knitting. I kind of know what works, and I kind of know how to set my my risk reward ratios. But when you literally, this is kind of like trading a stock of a company that has zero earnings. It can be worth zero. It can be like a biotech. It could be worth $1 billion tomorrow. But there's no rhyme or reason about why it is, other than people willing to buy it and sell it. There's no fundamental value. So to me, for me, let me put it this way. For me, it is the difference between speculation and gambling. So
Gotcha.
I don't know how to trade something unless there's something behind the thing, some story. Don't get me wrong. I've traded stocks without earnings before, or not positive earnings anyway, losers. But this, I got no idea. What if every country in the world decides that it's illegal tomorrow? You just never know about these things. So I'm always worried. If I was long this thing, I'd take my money and celebrate that it didn't club me to death like a baby seal.
Right. Well, that's what I did last week. I took Basil's advice and everything, and I got out, and he thought that it would probably eventually go up again, but not as soon as it did, of course. So,
well,
that's somebody else's opinion.
The only fundamental reason why this thing went up is they made it harder to mine new Bitcoins. At some point, there were a number of Bitcoins out there, and now it's so difficult to come up with new Bitcoins. Basically, the float doesn't get any bigger. So who knows what goes on in this thing? Is it real? Is it just a giant I think we've figured out that it's not a Ponzi scheme, because a Ponzi scheme actually is kind of a little different than this. But tulips, Beanie Babies, I think we've got allegories for this in the past. For something that's literally not backed by anyone, and also probably is and will raise the ire of countries around the world, except probably Russia. They probably love the fact that they can scoot money back into the country through this thing when they're doing their hacking activities. But other than them, probably everybody else hates it. So I don't know. I know it's kind of a deal in Japan and a couple of countries, but I don't understand why. You would think that they would hate stuff like this, but just my idea.
All right, good deal. Well, I appreciate your time and everything.
You bet.
I'll tune in and listen to what Andy has to say also later on.
He's already giving comments in the den, so he's getting ready.
Okay.
Appreciate the phone
good.
call.
We'll talk to you later.
Anyway, well, that's how tulips were. Tulip Mania, 1610. Tulips were basically free. All you had to do is grow them. Yep. There's always one of these things rolling around. And one of these things is Bitcoin the .com of 2017? Inquiring minds want to know.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And, yeah, good comment in the den, which is, the blockchain part of Bitcoin, but of course they don't own that. There's no patents on it that I'm aware of. There's nobody that's going to get their beak wetted by it. But kind of a game of musical chairs, just like Beanie Babies, and of course the tulips of the 1600s of the Dutch, and other times when there was a bit of financial euphoria and a madness of the crowds. But interesting nonetheless. More discussion about IBM, which actually is using blockchains in some of the new software that they're writing for a variety of uses. Doesn't seem to be getting love. In fact, a little bit more hate as we've said before, I think that this thing has one more gap down in this thing before it finds a low, but doesn't seem to be doing much. Fairly light volume, 1.6 million shares, but a lot of unflattering articles. Maybe that's the best way to say it this morning on this one, but doesn't seem to affect it much at all. Want to check back in with Priceline, PCLN, and see maybe how some of the stuff is working out. We said that this one was spectacularly susceptible to bad news at earnings, and it did gap down about $50. It's pretty much done nothing but go sideways out here, so there's nothing new to report. There is a gap out here at about 1770, and I think this thing is going to wander down in at least that level. And if we get the market turning down, my forecast on this one is at about 1675. This big gap going back to the 28th of February. That day had 1.7, let's call it 1.8 million shares. So probably going to be some level of support around that 1675 area back on Priceline. See if there's anything else out here that we're looking at. See, I wanted to take a look at RIG, RIG. Just going sideways. This is why I wanted to talk to Andy about crude today, because the question is, how long can these ocean rig companies last? And it's not so much if it can ever get back down there. The question is how long it goes sideways. And man, you got 4 days out here. You know, the one good thing that you had in rig is this May 4th low. It had 20 million shares at $10.03. You spiked down about 10, 15 cents above it with half the volume, but you really never got a big bounce out of it. Today we're up on a little lighter volume. I think you still need the $10 low for May 4th tested on this one. And if you got it with a little bit lighter volume, there may be something in this one. But you know, I don't mind that this thing's going sideways for a while. Get a little consolidation out of it, and I think that would look fairly good. Well, so what do you got? Well, yeah, somebody's posting in the den how one of the Bitcoin exchanges blew up and took a lot of people's money, if not all of it, over there in Japan. And I think it was the biggest one at the time. Anyway, we're going to move along. And Steve Rhodes is going to take care of the next hour. I'll be back at 4 o'clock with Andy Peck for most of the show, starting the second segment. And see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell those Beanie Babies while you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.